Guys, what's going on? It's your bro, the self-appointed, the self-anointed Rogue King. You know it. All right, today we've got a new deck for you. You know how much I love my rank decks. You know how much I love my blind second decks. And previously, I've played pure canines. I've shown you guys that on the channel. This is a new concept that I invented here. This is blind second canine Onomat Ryzeal. In that order. It's very important for it to remember that it's in that order because the canine part is the most important part. You generally want to start with that. And then the Onomat part is the next most important part. And then Ryzeal is just like, if you can get to detonator, you can get to detonator kind of thing, right? So what we're going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and show you the deck, and I'm going to go do some explanations while we do so. We're going to start with the canine side because that's the most important part here. So we, of course, run the 3 Norroys. I have in play testing cutting down to 2, and it literally makes no difference. I have 3, so I'm playing 3, but you're welcome to cut it down to 2. It's absolutely fine. I play 3 Izunas. There's going to be a lot of matchups where Izuna is useless, so there will be times where you feel like you can side out the third one. You absolutely can. So there's that. Then I play 2 Lanterns. I love the second lantern, and sometimes I even feel like I miss a third lantern. So try the 2 lanterns and you'll love it. Don't go down to just 1. You definitely need at least 2. So the 1 Noroi and the 1 Lupus. I've tested playing more Lupuses. I said Noroi. I meant to say Jokul. I've tried more Lupuses, and it never really made a difference enough to do it. So stick with the 1. You could go and try more, but you'll find out it's not that big of an impact. I don't care if somebody banishes my Lupus. It usually won't impact my gameplay at all. So you can if you want to, but yeah. So that is it for the canine monsters. We'll move on to the canine spells. But one thing I want you to notice is already, look how many starters we're talking here. Here's 3 starters. That makes 6 starters. That makes 8 starters. That makes 9 starters. So we're only 10 cards in, and we already have 9 starters. Keep that in mind for now, okay? We also have 3 chaotic elements and 3 7th tachyons, the 1 case for canine, and the 1 canine force released. You don't need to bother to play more than 1 canine quick play. Because this is a blind second deck and it's an OTK deck, you're never going to need, you're almost never going to get to a point where the second spell card actually mattered. So you can get away with just the 1 and 1. That's absolutely fine. The reason why you're maxing out on these is because you want to see as many starters as possible. Because it's a blind second deck, you're not supposed to do like 15 to 17 starters. You need to do upwards of 20. So here we are on the canine engine alone. This makes it 15 starters so far. And we haven't even gotten to the rest of the engines yet. So that's it for the canine side. Another thing to point out is this is also a board breaker. It happens sometimes, not all that often, but it does happen. And then 7th tachyons can also search out the Ryzeal side, which usually doesn't matter, but sometimes it matters. You know, that's that part there. We'll move on to the Onomat part. This is also different ratios from everybody else. We playing far fewer bricks than everybody. Notice how on the canine side, the only bricks that we have are just 1 Lupus and 1 force release. That's it so far. Now watch how few bricks I have on the Onomat side. We have 3 more starters, so now we're at 18 starters. This is 3 Dodo Warriors. We have 3 bricks, so that makes a total of 5 bricks. This is actually it for all the Onomat monsters that we need. It's literally just these. You don't need anything else. 1, 1, and 1. You could try to play Goblinberg, but what I noticed is that it conflicts too much with the normal summon need for the canine engine. So you can, but you don't need it. So therefore, I decided not to play it at all. Then, of course, we have 3 more starters. This we have Onomatopia. So this puts us at 21 starters in a 42 card deck. So literally half the deck, and we're still not even finished the deck yet here. 21 starters here. Excellent card. I really want to find more room for Onomat pickup. I haven't quite figured out where I want to put it in yet, but that's probably something I'm going to add in there because it does add extra layers to the deck. And it's a fantastic card in my opinion. But this gets you to all the combos you need. Once I get to the extra deck, you'll understand why this is all you need. And then the last 2 engine cards in the deck, I'm literally just playing 1 Ice Ryzeal and 1 Sword Ryzeal. Literally nothing else. And the reason why is because all I'm trying to do is use the Onomat engine to get to my rank plays, including a Duo Drive. Duo Drive searches out these 2, and this gets my detonator going. That's really all I need it for. I don't need it for anything else. I don't need to devote more space to the Ryzeal engine when all I'm using it for is detonator. Okay, so that's it for the engine card. We'll go to the non-engine next. And one thing I love about this deck is that the deck is mostly engine. It's very little non-engine by comparison. We do the 3 Fualos because if we can make them end on a half board, we probably won. We've got the 3 Perulias for the same reason. We've got only 1 Droll and 1 Nib. You can opt to play like more than copies of these, but there's too many matchups where this is not good, and there's too many matchups where this is not good. So I wanted to just do 1 and 1 and call it a day. You know, sometimes I'll have to side out this, sometimes I'll have to side out that, but basically just playing 1 and 1 is sufficient enough, and they basically serve the same function as Mulcharmies in that it makes my opponent end on a half board. So I have 9 cards that make my opponent end on a half board. And even if they end on full board, usually my engine is enough engine to win outright. The last 2 monsters I have here, I have 2 Estratoses. This is such a game-breaking card. I've been playing it since Ryzeal's first came out. I played both Protos and Estratos in it since Ryzeal's first came out. Absolutely the fuck broken. Absolutely the fuck broken. Excuse my language. They work so phenomenally well. You really ought to keep trying it. There's almost no matchups where this is not useful, because at the very minimum, this helps get you to the 8K on board. But also being able to lock your opponent out of a certain type is fantastic. And against almost every matchup out there, if you can stick this effect, you've probably won. There's that. And then the last cards, I play 2 Droplets. This is one of the few cards in the game that's always as good as hand traps. There's not many board breakers and stuff in the game that are as good as hand traps, and this is one of the few that is. And since it's a blind second deck, this just helps me clear any problem cards. That's why it's in there. And then the last card, I play 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. And the reason why I play Harpy's Feather Duster is because when you're at a regionals or something like that, this card will win you 1 or 2 games at that regionals. And that's really all you needed to do, is win you that 1 or 2 games. And it's basically useful against basically every matchup out there as a blind second player. So if you're a blind second player and you know you're going to use it, you might as well main deck it, because you just need it to win 1 or 2 games, and you're more likely to see the card if you're main decking it versus side decking it. So I main deck it, and that's all I use it for. Is just it gets me that 1 or 2 games. That's really all I need it for. That's the main deck. We're gonna go through the extra deck next here. So we do play a much heavier Nash Knight package than you would expect. Let me go ahead and show that for you. So, of course, we do play what everybody thinks, which is the Masquerade package, okay? This package definitely does work very well. But what I noticed is that more often than not, what I was playing instead, when I was getting to this, instead of going to this, instead what I would go to is I would use Nash Knight to attach this, just as a useless attachment. And then I would bring out the C Nash Knight and go into Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. This effect is really good. It forces your opponent to respond to it, because if they don't respond, then they basically lose so much advantage that you most likely won. And even if they do respond to it, this then becomes a 4,500 beat stick, which gets you much, much, much closer to an 8,000 OTK right there. So that part is, I almost always summon this rather than this, but I know my opponent is expecting me to go for this, so I have it there just in case I need to do that. But realistically, something like 7 out of every 10 times I do my Nash Knight play, I'm actually going for this instead of this. There's that. For the K9 ones, the K9 side is actually much smaller than you would think. We actually only play 1 Ripper. The reason why you only play 1 is because you're not going to get to the second one. Because it's a blind second deck. 1 Jax and 1 Werewolf. You don't need the Ripper 2. Because it's blind second and that card itself is not very good in blind second, you only use that card when you're at such a disadvantage that it becomes useful. I felt like it wasn't worth playing. So, and the extra deck here is so incredibly tight. that you just need to make sure that you're playing only the most necessary cards. So this is actually it for the K9 parts. Then for the rest of the extra deck is going to be literally just the rank 4 stuff. So we play one Tornado Dragon, because of course we do. One Gaga Girl, which is actually a fantastic card. This is surprisingly good. And to go along with that Gaga Girl, we also are playing the Utopic Zexal, which is really, really good. This absolutely gets you to the OTKs very easily. One Lathlation, which is surprisingly easy to make in this deck. It keeps happening with me where I keep making this and just really gaining advantage there. And then of course the Duo Drive and the Detonator. That's actually it for the entire extra deck here. I literally am not bothering to play any links because I don't feel like there's any links in the game that are better than what I've placed here. You know, like I don't think there's any spare room in this extra deck. What you'll notice is even though I play a Dododo Onomat engine, you'll notice that I don't play much of the Onomat cards, right? Like, all I'm trying to do is break my opponent's board and win that turn. So I don't need to bother with all the rank up magic stuff because A, that's extra bricks, and B, they're not that great for going second. And I know that no matter the matchup, I want to go second. I just like the challenge of that. So as a result, it enables me to change my mindset about how to play the deck, and I can avoid playing all those extra bricks, all this extra stuff. I can avoid playing all of that and simply play what will actually get me to the win. You know, so that's what this represents there. And that's the reason why the Onomat engine is so small, because it doesn't need to be big anymore, because I just got rid of all the bricks and I'm blind second. I'm not going to show you guys the side deck here because it's still in works, but basically what you want for the side deck is a lot of just generic stuff, because if you know you're blind second, you have enough room to play a lot of generic cards that work against a lot of different matchups. And in a format where there's so many matchups out there, you don't know what to predict. So of course you're gonna, I'll show you some of the cards. So of course you are gonna play Lancias, of course that, right? And of course you're gonna play Meowls, right? Those ones are obvious, right? And then the rest is just gonna be player preferences, because it's just gonna be stuff that you think will work against the most matchups possible. So like that's just basically what you do. Just the rest of your side deck should be just blind second stuff that works against as many different decks as you can think of. So examples would be like Lava Golem. Since you're not that reliant upon your normal summon, you can say, hey, you know what, let me slide out on the Roy, that way I only have 2 cards as my normal summon, and then side in some Lava Golems. It's an example, right? You could do things like Regeki, adding another Forbidden Droplet, things like that, things that are just generically good, right? The Lancias are good against enough decks that it's worth playing. The Meowls are good against enough decks that it's worth playing in the side deck. But basically everything else is just like as generic as possible. Nibiru's, you know, everything like that. That's basically it. That's all I have to say about this, guys. What I want you to do from here, if you liked this video, if you like this kind of content, please do like, the comment, the subscribe, that sort of thing. I am building up my channel, and I really do want to see this become a thing. So if you guys like this, the kind of perspective that I'm providing for you guys, this channel, it's a rogue channel. You know, if you want to see more rogue content, this is the channel for you. This is not the channel for standard meta content, right? Like if you want to see, like, I mean, we all know Joshua Schmidt's an excellent player, and people like that, they're excellent players. And if you want that kind of content, those are the kind of people to go to. If you want rogue content, that's right here, the Rogue Den. This is your home. All right, guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Love you. Peace out.